Hello, and welcome to the new installment of Bean Steamers. We're glad you could join us. Joining us today, of course, is Harold the Baby Bigfoot and Sammy the Hippopotamus with the golden Mickey Mouse ears, two indispensable characters on this YouTube channel. And we're glad you could be with us today as well. Today, we're going to spend just a little bit of time talking about discount stores. Now, to many, it's a thorn in the side. Some of them are good, most are not. After more than one bad experience, there is one that I simply will not go into anymore under any conditions. Once again, good taste prohibits me from naming them. Suffice it to say that their name begins with the letter W and ends with the word Mart. Now, this unnamed store has a location that's not too far from my home, beautiful plastic Fork Ranch, and I will never set foot into that store again. Now, wait a second, you say. You can't condemn a whole chain of stores that has over 10,800 locations around the world, 4,500 just in this country alone, and they're all around the world in 19 other countries. You can't condemn this whole chain simply because of the failings of one store that is in the vicinity of your house. Yes, I can, and yes, I am. If you go into this store with a list of 10 items that you need, you may walk out with 5. And that's only because you compromised on 3 or 4 items, settling for something that wasn't exactly what you wanted, just so you didn't have to go to another store. Probably, if you stuck exactly to your list, you would walk out with, at most, 2 of the 10 items that you were shopping for. Of course, what you have to go through just to get these 2 items is the equivalent of climbing Mount Everest or winning the New York Marathon on your first try without any training. When you step into this local begins with W and ends with Mart, sorry, the full name of this establishment must remain a secret. The first thing that you notice is the temperature. It's 90 degrees outside. And if it's 90 degrees outside, it's 87 in the store. If it's 35 degrees outside, it's 50 degrees in the store. There's no air conditioning or heat here. They're too cheap to turn it on. Also, you better bring a small flashlight if you want to see the print on the tag. If they turn off any more of the lights, you'd be in the dark in that store. You know, and another interesting thing about this particular store that's in the vicinity of my house, it resides in a village. It's an incorporated village, so they have their own police and fire department. And there is so much shoplifting at this store that they have a police substation inside the store. So let's say now that you're having trouble finding an item that could theoretically mean the difference between life and death in this store. Something like a candy bar. Just figure on dying in the store because not one employee that you approach will have the slightest idea where it's located, or for that matter, what you're even talking about. Actually, just try to find an employee at all. If you're fortunate enough to find the exact item that you were looking for and a store employee to assist you, you better not have any questions about them because the employees don't have a clue anything about this item that you're looking for. Just buy it and hope you can figure it out. Now, of course, buying it ain't that easy either. When you get to the checkout, the line of registers is as far as the eye can see. The highest number of registers before infinity, but only 2 are open, usually 1 at each end. And the lines of people that are waiting to check out at these 2 open registers is just about as infinite. Don't expect it to move too fast. There's always someone who questions the price of something. You know the way it goes. The sign said $1.29 and you're trying to charge me $1.49. I would be tempted to walk up at the front of the line, flip the customer 2 dimes and say, here, Please accept this paltry sum and use it to finalize your purchase so we can get this line moving. I would say that if I was in the store, but I won't be. Of course, there's a bonus to shopping at this unnamed place of business that is near my house. If you are 61 and a half years old, instead of waiting in line to make your purchase, you can get someone to hold your place, go to the local Social Security office, which happens to be next door, sign up for benefits, and be back in line at W Mart before you need to be at the register to check it out. That's a nice perk, isn't it? Of course, as you well know, the only stores that are making real dough right now are online stores, like another business that gets a lot of my money, and in the interest of fairness shall remain nameless as well. We'll just call it A blank Zon. Great selection, great prices, not necessarily the cheapest anymore, but who cares? Fast delivery if you are a P ends in E member and an easy return policy. Who could ask for more? You can buy stuff in your pajamas at 2 o'clock in the morning while you're sipping on a beer. That's the American way in the 21st century. They say that the CEO of this company, A. Blank Zahn, is one of the richest guys in this world. Well, he deserves it. He foresaw that the buying population was tired of hassles going back to brick and mortar stores for goods, and he gave us what we wanted. Now you can even get food delivered by this company. One less thing I have to worry about. Of course, we need still, I guess, a good selection of brick and mortar businesses. Ones that come to mind is the music store. Who would buy a guitar or any musical instrument for that matter without trying it out first? And evidently, a lot of people, which is sad. Some stores we just need, but W. Mart, the full name must remain a secret, we don't need. We seem to have an abundance of discount stores in our society, and after meaningless research, I have found the secret to being a happy shopper at these establishments. All you have to do is follow one simple guideline. If you find something you really like a brand of shampoo or a particular kind of potato chip, buy a lifetime supply, or at the very least, buy every unit that they have in stock at that point in time. Even ask them to go to the back room and to bring out any others that they have. Buy them all, because as sure as the sun is going to rise tomorrow, if you don't, you'll go back to that store next week and the item will be out of stock, never to return. That, my friends, is the world we live in, and it ain't gonna get no better. Another growing phenomena in our society today is the rise of the dollar store. However, what must be pointed out is not all dollar stores are equal. Some dollar stores are actually $3 stores. Now, regardless of all of these stores, especially the true dollar store, which every item is $1, no exceptions, are enjoying a surge in customers as the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. What is absolutely comical to me is that there appears to be a growing number of self-appointed watchdogs who are now saying that these dollar stores do not provide enough nutritional food to their customers who are forced to shop there because of their economic status. Of course, the people who are saying this aren't patrons of these stores. They just want the stores to stock food items that they can't afford to sell for $1 so the customers have good, wholesome food. In other words, these stores are there to lose money so the poor can eat better. What if the same standards applied to their business? What if all the economically challenged got together and told all the lawyers in the world that they couldn't charge $300 an hour anymore? They now had to charge $5.50 an hour, which is less than the minimum wage in Ohio. I don't even know what the minimum wage is anymore in Ohio, but I can tell you there's lots of people who work for less than the minimum wage, no matter what state they live in. Do you think all the lawyers would just say, okay, I'll do that. I'll research the case, I'll do all the legwork, and I'll defend you in court for $75? Not a problem. Yeah, I can see that happening. What if the automobile manufacturers were told all of a sudden that they had to get a car on the market in the next 6 months that got 100 miles per gallon? What would be their reply? People are in the business to make money. If these dollar stores want to stock their shelves with frozen pizza, potato chips, and candy, it's their business, isn't it? Leave these people alone, just like you want to be left alone. Now, as an addendum onto this, I might add that I broke one of my own rules the other day. I was in the market for a particular guitar. I went to my local guitar center. They had exactly what I wanted there. It was $1,500. Now, I didn't mind paying $1,500 for this guitar, but I went home, I looked online, and I found the same thing at a discount store online for $749, and it was shipped here for free. So maybe I don't even need the music stores anymore. I buy all my accessories, strings, picks, things like that, guitar stands, all online. Why not guitars too? It's the society we live in, isn't it? And it's not going to get any better. Well, that's going to conclude our discussion of discount stores. Please be with us next week. We'll have a whole new subject. I think it's going to have to do with weather people, a particular thorn in my side. Until then, I can ask you please subscribe to this website if you haven't done it already. Hit the little bell for the notifications, and you can be the very first person on your block to have the brand new installment of Bean Steamers. I know you'll like it. So that's it for today. Thank you very much. Good day. Sammy thanks you. Harold thanks you. And we'll see you all next week.